Well, today it's a little cold outside. We had a bunch of rain yesterday on that new seating, which is nice. So decided to go ahead and pull the Cummins in the shop. She's been giving me some weird issues. I talked to the pump shop and they said, well, you need to have your injection pump redone. So what it's doing, the injection pump acts like the idle is set too high. It won't idle down below 1100. If you kind of grip on the throttle, you know, in the foot feed, you kind of grip it, and then it'll come down to like 1000, and it's not touching the idle adjust screw on the back. I've checked that, tried to adjust it, told the pump shop, and they're like, hey, yeah, that's majorly not good. If that I don't know, I haven't ever been into the governor in the back myself, but they said if it is doing that, basically it could come all apart and have a runaway engine on you. Well, that's not good. So we're gonna tear this thing apart today. Hopefully I can get it out. And these are a major pain in the ass, mainly because of those two bolts right down inside there. Anyway, so I'm gonna work on this. The hired guy's in here working on his pickup today. And I don't know, he's got some U-joints or something up in there and a brake line leaking. So he's gonna work on that while I'm working on the Cummins, trying to get it figured out. So hopefully it'll go pretty easy. But it's a heck of a project getting that out of there. So hang in there, we'll get her out. All right, we're coming along here pretty good. Obviously we've got the injection lines off. And we're basically ready to pull the pump out, but I'm having a heck of a time getting to, I can get to the top bolt, which is right there. You can just barely see the nut. The bottom one, get that wire out of the way so you can see it. Yeah, there. The bottom one down in there, I'm having a heck of a time to get to that. So went ahead and pulled the fuel filter off. So maybe I can fish the extension alongside the block up in there. I can't remember how the heck I got it in there to start with. Somehow, probably had the fuel filter out of the way. So we're gonna try that, see if we can't get up in there with that off there. And everything else is ready. We're just trying to get that pulled off. Got it timed already. Just that one stupid little bolt. Trying to get to that. So anyway, should be out of here in just a minute. Whew, man. Well, it only took me an hour and a half to get that one nut off down there. That one. Took me an hour and a half to get that one nut off. And the only way you can get to it is you fish an extension back up in here, a nice 12-inch, and then you extend beyond that another 12-inch to reach back in there. You can't get a 24-inch or a 20-inch in there, but you can get two 12s in there. That's the only way I can get it. And not a swivel socket either, just a regular shallow socket. So, man, few choice words, an hour and a half of figuring out which stinking line to run that thing in there. Now, since we got this off, this is a perfect time to replace this big old stupid ugly gasket. It looks like it's leaking around each one of them bolt holes. Get that fixed up. Now this line, I was in the big city of Des Moines a couple years ago, and that's a Y fitting right there, right down there. That's a Y that ties into the block, or a T, whatever the hell you want to call it. That feeds down and up, and it had broke. And luckily I was right next to the Cummins dealer, and I rode in there and they replaced all that for me. But it looks like it is also leaking. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't replace both of these lines and see where the hell all that oil's coming from. Because even though I replaced it and the front cover and everything is sealed, it's quit leaking, but she's still just dripping up over here somewhere. And I think it's from that line. Now those are both, you know, those are all leaking just a tad. That one's back there leaking a little bit more. So we'll get that sealed. But I think that line's leaking also. It's pretty dang wet. So we'll get that off, get that replaced. In the meantime, holy smokes, that is a monster injection pump. And P-7100s are just huge. So we got all that off of there. We just got to get her to the pump shop, and they're going to completely rebuild the whole thing. We're going to put some bigger governor springs in the back of it because I like to spin it a little faster during truck pulls, And I don't truck pull very often, but it needs to be bumped up just a little bit. I asked him about maybe putting bigger delivery valves in it. He says, man, it's going to be double the price if you want to do that. So I don't know if we're going to do any bigger delivery valves or not. I really don't need it any bigger. When I've changed the timing back to stock, it started definitely easier in the winter time, but she just doesn't have quite the snot that I want it to. But yeah, as a daily driver farm pickup, I suppose it's better to start better in the winter time anyway. So we'll get that fixed up, and now that I know how to get the extension through there, this is like this it's sitting like this on the engine, and you gotta fish that extension just right down through here, and it's wanting to fall down, or it's getting stuck on everything in through here. I mean, right, you can see the bolt hole right there. It's just a major freaking pain in the ass, and there's only that much clearance between the, you know, you can't even put your finger in there between that and the top of the intake. So major definite tightness. And then while we got that all apart, we need to put some new bushings in our throttle linkage stuff, because this is just all loosey-goosey here. Trying to show you one-handed. There you go. She's just super loosey-goosey. So we'll get some new linkage for that. And this ball up here has been wore out for years, and it would just simply fall off. So being a young conniving guy, I just, you know, put a zip tie around it. Hell, that held it. So, you know, shit, let's fix that too while we're in there. Let's make this thing nice. And you can see as it's sitting, you can just barely see the gap in there. Maybe you can't. There's a slight gap in there. That's the idle stop, and it's not even hitting it, and it's still idling like 1100 RPM, and it won't come down. So something in there is goofed up. That's why we're taking her apart, getting her rebuilt. And let's see what else we can add on to it while we got it apart. Got some other ideas for the AFC up top I've been kind of wanting to do for a year or two and just haven't got to it. Well, now that she's out, holy shit, that's a big pump. Now that she's out, let's do her upright. So all right, guys, stick around for the video going back together. I'm sure it will be just as not fun. Till then, catch you later.